Well, good evening. This is the Houndog here. How are you this evening? Well, I am very excited because I got a letter today from the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry. And what that letter contained was my Crown land patent for this property. And here is a certification that it is an actual copy of the Crown land patent. And now you'll see here that the name on this is William Snowden. Okay, now I've done a little piece where I've actually scanned this into the computer, and it'll be a lot easier to read, and I'm going to go through all of the details. This is the actual deed itself, which deeded this property over to William Snowden. And again, I will actually read all of those words so that you can really get a clear idea of what this is, of what it looks like, and what it does. Okay, so what is a Crown land patent? I have a little download here. This is from the Ontario Landowners Association, and I will leave a link to my website, and on my website front page there is a link to this download. This is a free download that you can use. So I just read what it says on the front page. Request your Crown land patent that grants you the land and tenements forever. Recognised by the courts, the Crown land patent is a legal set of rules or an agreement which is known as contract law, an act for a promise and a promise for an act. So basically what happened, the land that is owned by the Crown in Canada was obtained either by treaty through the Indians, and of course they became reserved lands, hence the term reserve, and or they won them by war and they confiscated them. Anyway, these lands were all owned by the Crown, and as an encouragement to get people to move over to Canada, they would offer plots of land which the patent would be issued on that land and basically deeded to that person in return for, clearing the land within 3 years, putting up a homestead, this kind of stuff, and it was a way to settle a country. So these Crown land patents were issued to people who emigrated to Canada on behalf of the Crown. So these Crown land patents, one of the things that people don't generally realise, and I'm sure you've heard stories, I'll get into this in a second, but when you mention the word property, okay, most people think of a square or an oblong of land, and there is a building on that of some kind, or there will be a building put onto that of some kind. Whereas actually in law, a property is a cuboid. Okay, so it goes as high as the heavens and to the center of the earth. And you may have heard these bizarre stories of people who've moved up to Bancroft or out into the wilderness in BC. They got 200 or 300 acres, and they woke up one morning and they heard mining equipment. And that is because some mining company had staked a claim on a mineral below the surface. Okay, so when you buy your property, when you buy your house, you only have the surface rights of that property. If there happens to be a valuable mineral beneath your property, somebody can stake a claim on that, and they can come in and mine, and all they have to do is promise to return your land to the way it was when they finished. Now, it might take 40 or 50 or 60 years to mine out a piece of property. So that's basically your piece of property is gone for that entire time, and you have to put up with the consequences. Okay, so when you have this Crown land patent, that cannot be done because you own the entire cuboid from the heavens to the center of the earth. Okay, now let me see. Now the only thing with these grants, everyone is a little bit different. Now I've read mine on the screen, this little piece I will add into this video. But basically the Crown land patent that I have gives me the deeded right to this property, except for one thing: any water passage over or under this property belongs to the Crown. So this would be to do with logging, you know, if there's a riverway, a river course, all of this kind of stuff. So really, it's not in effect here. There's no issue with water here. Okay, so but basically what this does is it gives me complete jurisdiction over my property, and anybody who disputes that actually has to take me to court and prove it in a court of law that this document is not a valid document. And I've heard of several cases from the Landowners Association where farmers have been taken to court to dispute this by the province, and basically when they got there, nobody from the other side showed up, and the case was closed, and the whole thing was let go, because the province knows that if this document is upheld by a court of law, and it will be upheld by a court of law, that means that it's going to undermine the authority of the province over the people who hold these documents. So the sort of things that you can do is that the bylaw officers are no longer permitted to come on my property because I have jurisdiction over my property. There are many things that you can basically dig your heels in when the council says, no, we're going to change it to this way. You can say, no, not on my property you're not. You do what you want over there, but as long as I have this document, I'm insisting that you take me to court and prove that this document has no value whatsoever. And of course, I mean, the Municipal Act itself is based on the Baldwin Act of 1846. So if they're going to say that these documents are not valid in court, well then I think you would have an equal right to say, well, I'm not going to listen to the Baldwin Act of 1846 because it's a Crown document. Okay. Another example would be, say, and don't laugh at this, this has been seriously discussed in the city of Kawartha Lakes, of metering of private wells. Okay, so just think about that for a second. Metering a private well and charging you for water that is in the ground. With this Crown land patent, you would be able to resist that move, legally resist that move. And the municipalities are so cash strapped right now, they are looking at every possible way that they can raise money through tolls, levies and taxes. So farmers, please do yourself a big favour and get your Crown land patent. And also another thing, that all politicians, when they become politicians, they sign a document that says that they will uphold the Crown and the rights that the Crown affords to the public. Okay, so even your politicians are bound by this document to uphold your rights. They have to support you. Okay, now this is not just me talking. I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer of any kind, but if you go onto the Ontario Landowners Association, and as I say, if you go down below in the notes, you will see a link that I've left there to my website. You'll be able to go to the page, click on that button to the Crown land patent, and anyway, take a look at some of the issues. And they have a lawyer. They have a lawyer on staff at the Ontario Landowners Association, and she answers all kinds of questions about this stuff. So this is not me saying it's a legal document. This is a lawyer. This is a land lawyer saying that this is a legal document. So I would urge all of you, especially farmers, but anybody who lives in a rural area, I mean, I would try it anyway. All you need is your lot and concession number, and you know, you may have to go and get a title search to find out the actual lot and concession number. But download this in this package that you download. There is an application form to the M&R, see, I'll just show you that here. Here we go. There's your application form. Now I faxed mine in because when you fax, they have a record that they've received it at the other end. Because I initially went down to the M&R in Peterborough myself, and I go to the desk and I ask the woman behind the desk where I get my application for a Crown Land patent, and she looked at me like I had two heads, and she's getting all flustered and she says, "Oh, Crown Land patents, Doris, do we have any Crown Land?" No, we've never heard of Crown Land patents here. So you're going to get the put off, and governments, as it says here, governments are not fond of people obtaining their Crown Land patents, and I'm glad that mine came through. I applied last November 2016, and I just received it the other day, April the 16th, 2017. Okay, so you're looking at about a four month wait for this. But as speed picks up, more and more people are understanding these Crown Land patents and realizing the power of them, and so they are applying for them more and more. And I will guarantee you, at some point, the province won't deny you, but it will either take forever, or you'll have to pay big bucks, or there'll be all kinds of conditions that have been put on the obtaining of your Crown Land patent. So I would do this sooner rather than later. It costs $50 for a certified copy, and I think that is cheap at the price. Okay, so this will give you a little better look at the Crown Land patent, and of course it's from the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry in Ontario. And it says, "I hereby certify that the enclosed is a true and faithful copy of the original record of the Crown patent as issued to William Snowden," and he is the chap who originally bought this piece of property, "and recorded in the Crown Land Registry, in testimony whereof I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry of the Province of Ontario at the City of Peterborough in the said province of the 7th day of April AD 2017. And this is signed for the Minister of the Natural Resources and Forestry." Okay, so this is the actual transfer deed, and it says, "John Crawford, this is the Governor of Ontario, Province of Ontario, Victoria, by the grace of God, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, Queen, Defender of the Faith, etc., etc., etc. To all to whom these presents shall come, greetings. Whereas William Snowden, of the town plot of Rokeby in the county of Victoria, has contracted and agreed for the absolute purchase of the lands and tenements hereinafter mentioned and described at and for the price or sum of $120 of lawful money of Canada, and of which lands we are seized in right of our crown. Now know ye that in consideration of the said sum of $120, well and truly paid to our use at or before the sealing of these letters patent, we have granted, sold, alienated, conveyed, and assured, and by these presents do grant, sell, alien, convey, and assure unto the said William Snowden, his heirs, and assigns for ever all this parcel or tract of land, situate, lying, and being in the township of Rokeby, in the county of Victoria, in the province of Ontario, containing by admeasurement 2 acres, be the same more or less, which is said parcel or tract of land may be otherwise known as follows, that is to say, may being composed of lots numbers 11 and 12 of the east side of the Bobcaygeon Road, and lots numbers 11 and 12 on the west side of Helen Street of this said town plot in Rokeby. So this is this patent is for one of 4 plots within Rokeby. Okay, and this is kind of interesting because sometimes they put conditions on the signing over of this Crown Land patent. And here it says, to have and hold the said parcel or tract of land hereby granted, conveyed and assured under the said William Snowden, his heirs and assigns for ever, saving, accepting and reserving nevertheless unto us our all navigable waters that shall or may be hereafter found on or under or be flowing through or upon any part of the said parcel or tract of land, hereby granted as aforesaid. Given under the Great Seal of our Province of Ontario, the Honourable John Crawford, Lieutenant Governor of the Province of Ontario, and that's the 18th of January in 18, what's the date on here? 1876. So that was quite a while ago, and this is just the back page, and it says 1875, January 18th, 1875, Crown Grant to William Snowden, Township of Verulam, Liber 63, folio 144. So I'm just going to read this last little bit here. It said, basically until a few years ago, when the landowner researchers came across them in their reading, no one knew about them or talked about them. So he'd been educating lawyers and politicians. Politicians take an oath to the Crown when being sworn in. This oath says that they will uphold the Crown and our constitutions. So we are insisting that our Crown grants our contract from the King, Crown to us, and they should not interfere with it. Anyway, I hope you've liked this little piece. I hope you found it informative. If you have, please click the like button down below and subscribe, and visit my website. There's a whole bunch more videos on there, and well, I look forward to talking to you soon. Okay, you take care. Have a great evening. Good night.